the big question is this: how do pastors like us who remain focused on the mission of Jesus and serving our communities without being distracted by everything in the world around us, how do we increase our effectiveness while living a lifestyle that doesn't compromise our health, our families, or our personal relationships with Jesus? That's the question this podcast is going to answer. I'm Dr. Brandon Party Cooper, and welcome to the Ministry Hackers Podcast. Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the Ministry Hackers Podcast. I hope this episode finds you well. Hope you are having a great week. Things are going well on this end. Again, still enjoying the fall, enjoying football, enjoying my Chiefs pulling out a win this week. So that's always good for at least the Party Cooper household. All our boys cheer on. Even Emerson was getting into it this week, the 1-year-old, watching the game and jumping up and down. So that was exciting. And so, but yeah, overall pretty good. Hope things are going well for you. We are gearing up. Not only is it fall, but we're also gearing up for holiday season. And so I hope you are thinking about all of those things as they are coming quickly, and as you are planning any events or however it looks like for you in your community and in your local area, depending on what your restrictions are based on COVID and those types of things. But those things are definitely on the horizon. They're going to come quickly. I keep having conversations with my wife, and we keep saying that once October hits, it's going to be pretty fast for us. From October till probably January, we have holidays, birthdays. It's a very busy window for us in the year. And so yeah, just be thinking about those events coming up and how you're going to celebrate each one of those, what you're going to do, because they're going to be here before you know it. And so in that same vein, as we are looking at this episode, I wanted to share a little tip on how to manage your time a little bit better, and primarily how to make sure you are getting the things done that you absolutely need to help you be more productive, more effective, especially in ministry. Because I don't know about you, but for me, being in ministry roles, it's constant interruptions. And so it's constantly somebody walking into my office and say, hey, I have a question, or hey, I need this, or hey, this is what's happening. Can you help me figure out what to do? Or, somebody comes by the church and comes into the church office and needs help doing something or whatever. It's always just interruptions and things going on. And so what I found years ago, I say that, probably 8 to 10 years ago, I found that there were certain things every day that needed to be done. And so, one thing that I did is I created a schedule for each day. And so, not really a schedule, but a list of things that needed to be done each day. So, every Monday, this task needed to be done. And every Wednesday, this task needed to be done. And so, that was kind of a good structure for me to follow, knowing that each, day of the week has certain things that have to be done, and to make sure those things got done. But then what I ran into was, once I got those things done, so Monday I got, the 1 or 2 things that absolutely need to be done on Monday. It was then a question of, okay, now I have this huge, bank of tasks and things need to be done. And some of them have deadlines and some of them don't. And how do I navigate that? How do I figure out which ones to do, which ones are, needed? What attention do I need to put towards them? And I've used all kinds of different time management tools. I've used Noseby. I've used To-Do, Toodle-Do. I've used OmniFocus for a little while. Goodness, I can't even remember all of them that I've used. And they were just essentially another bank of, tasks that I would put. And so I really needed something that would help me stay focused from day to day. And I can't remember who it was that I learned this from. I think it was either a podcast or, or a book that I had read. But it said at the end of each day, write down the 3 things that absolutely need to be done the following day. So, on Monday, I get done with my day. Before I leave the office, before I shut the door, before I close everything down, sit down and I would write down, here are the 3 things that I need to do tomorrow, Tuesday. And that is after the scheduled things. So there's Tuesdays things that have to be done every week. And those are givens. Those have to be done. And so I wouldn't count those. I would say, okay, when those things are done, so when when the 5 Tuesday tasks are done, here are the 3 things that I have to get done or I need to get done tomorrow. So I would write down those 3 things on Monday night, so that when I came in Tuesday, the first thing I would do is go through the Tuesday tasks and make sure those got done. And as soon as those were done, then I would switch over to my top 3 things, and I would nail those 3 things done. Nail those 3 things down and get them done. And what I found very quickly was that most of the time, depending on how long each one of those tasks were and how complicated they were, what I found was is most of the time I had everything done before lunchtime. So I would have all my daily tasks, all of my Tuesday tasks done, as well as the top 3 things I needed to get done that I set up the day before. And usually by lunchtime, those were done, which meant that the afternoon was either spent getting other tasks done and getting ahead, or it was spent having meetings, connecting with people, networking, working on pet projects that I had, writing curriculum, writing a blog post, writing on my book, something like that. I would spend the extra afternoon time getting things done that didn't have to be done, but because I had gotten everything done that needed to be done, I was able to get more done on the back end. And so what I found was just a lot more productive by doing that. I was able to get ahead, and it allowed me to keep ahead on all my projects, keep ahead on all my events. So again, as we're talking about the events that are coming up in the next few months for holidays and different things like that, a lot of times those get pushed off because they have no demand. They have the timeline is so far out and the deadline is so far out that there's just not this urgency for us to get it done because it's not demanding our attention. Well, when we're able to get the things that we have to get done for the day out of the way early on, then it allows us to spend the other half of the day focusing on things that need to get done and allows us to work ahead. And as leaders, that's one of the biggest things that we don't do well, especially as pastors and ministry leaders, because we work with people so closely and because people have so many demands and so many interruptions that come into our office and come into our lives. A lot of times what we end up doing is we keep our head down to the ground and at the task immediately in front of us. And once that task is done, then we grab the next one. And we're never able to really lift our eyes up on the horizon and look out across the way and say, oh, 6 months from now, that thing is happening. I need to get ready for it now. 8 months from now, next year, I need to have those things prepared or in place, or I at least need to have thought through them enough so that we're not scrambling, so that we can increase the quality and increase the excellence level. And get ahead of it so we're not reacting when we come to it. And quite honestly, when we do that, when we get the things that we need to done early and spend the rest of the day working on things that don't have to be done now and will get us ahead, what immediately starts to happen, and you'll see it almost within the week, you'll start to see your stress level lower. You'll start to see yourself being more creative. You'll start to see yourself almost enjoying your productivity, because every time we check something off on that list, and every time we complete a task, and every time that we can actually see, hey, I got this done, there's this little release of dopamine in our minds and in our brains that that makes us feel good. It's the same thing that happens when you work out. It's the same thing when you achieve something. That little enjoyment in our minds or in our brains, it helps us to go faster and go farther and work better, just because we're getting things done. It's when we're getting things half done, when we're working on this and then we're working on that and we're working on that, and then at the end of the day, we look back and we're like, I didn't really get anything done because I got interrupted or because I jumped from project to project and I never completed anything. Then we slowly slip into this drudgery and this frustration and this weariness because we're not accomplishing things. We're just almost like we're spinning our wheels, and we're getting, we're active and we're doing stuff, but we're not completing things. And then when the event comes or the service comes or whatever it is, and we scramble and kind of put it all together and finish it, we throw it out there and it's done, and we are happy that it's done and the event is over. But there's almost this little bit of remorse within us that says, I wish that would have been better. I wish I'd have put more time into that piece of it, or I wish I would focused more on this point that I was making, whatever the case is, but I just ran out of time. How many times are you finding yourself saying that? I ran out of time. I wasn't able to do it the way I wanted to. Well, this little trick, as simple as it sounds, will help you have the time to do those things and put that extra oomph into it, that extra special piece, that that extra little bit of excellence, because you're creating space. You're getting the absolute necessities done on the front end of your day. And then the back end of your day, you're getting things that don't have to be done now, but are getting you ahead for the future. And the longer you do that, the more it compiles on yourself, to where, sometimes you'll be working 3 to 6 to 8 months out, maybe even a year out. And that's what high level leaders really do. High level pastors and highly productive pastors and super effective pastors, that's what they're doing. They're working so far in advance. And so they're putting more thought and more attention and more creativity into everything they're doing, because they're creating margin based on how they're running their daily lives. And so that's just a little trick. I hope it helps you. If you're feeling super overwhelmed, you're feeling like you just can't get ahead, or you can't get enough done, or your days go by and you can't complete anything, I would encourage you, do this. Write down your top 3 things at the end of the day, so when you come in the following morning, you can get those done first thing and knock them out, and then move forward with the rest of your day and see how far that gets you. Because again, one of the things we want to do is we want to lower our stress levels. We want to enjoy ministry. We want to be happy and encouraging and joyful around the people that we serve. And we want to feel like what we're doing in ministry is making an impact and moving our church forward, and we're enjoying our families. And all of that comes when we create margin in our daily lives. So I hope that's helpful. I'll see you in the next episode. Bye-bye.